Welcome to 277. It's a special edition. I've just decided I want to start bringing content to all my friends during on Mondays in or around the 1, 2, 3 o'clock hour. It's just a great day, and sometimes people are tired at night. So I thought we would begin to bring some content to you during the day, and I see we have as many people in the classroom as we do in the evening. So that's a beautiful thing. My guest this afternoon is Jennifer Hatcher. She is a balayage specialist. I also consider her a bounce back Jedi. You know, we all have times in our life when life gets lifey, and you're going to see by her story that when life gets lifey, she's as much of a master at bouncing back as she is at coloring hair. So looking forward to engaging in the conversation. She is at Maven and Company, Pleasanton, California. Lindsay Skog is the salon owner. Nicole Pizzani is my one of my besties at Salon Centric. She actually blew in my ear about Jennifer Hatcher, and the rest is history. So she, during COVID, you can see, a couple steps back, going to more than double it. In 2021, she'll probably be trending 100,000 by the end of the year as well. Her average ticket, I think on a typical day, it's about $1,000. Average ticket kind of hangs at a couple $100. Rebooks everybody that jumps in her chair. So she's very much, in the game. She's going to be engaging. She's got a very interesting story, a lot of life in her story, and a lot of bounce back, and it's very inspiring. But in a nutshell, I don't want to take anything away from that. But in a nutshell, graduates from high school in 2008, hair school in 2009, takes her first job behind the chair in 2009, Salon 645 in 2011, Studio Le Rev in 2016, and in 2018, renames Maven and Company. So that's her story. You are going to, for sure, want to follow her on Instagram. She's got something that she uses that I said, make sure you talk about that this afternoon, because it really is really cool. And I don't want to take anything away from it, but you'll be finding it on her grids, and she'll talk to you about it. And if you enjoy, if you're intrigued by what she does, she even said, if you DM her and you're nice to her, she'll tell you how to access it. So she's in my green room now. I'm going to go get her. We'll get her talking about her life a little bit, and then I'm going to see if I can get a little bit of secret sauce from her. So hang on just for a second, and you are going to make her feel nice and welcome. Hi, Jennifer.
Hello, Mr. Michael Cole.
Thanks for taking some time out of your day to be with us this afternoon. I really appreciate it.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me.
Well, you and I had a chance to meet. Nicole Pizzani told me, your reputation precedes you. And I just, we spent probably an hour on, I can't remember if it was a Zoom and or a call, but I was very moved by your story. So I'd like to get you started there. The story is what brings life into the conversation. So get us started. Who are you? What inspired you to get into the biz and get to the place that you're at right now?
Well, I've always loved doing hair. I was doing, hair for prom, I was late to my prom because I had a room full of my girlfriends who I was getting ready to go. And I was very lucky that starting very early in high school, I knew exactly what I wanted to do. I knew that path. I graduated, high school in June. I started beauty school in August. I was that girl who sat at the front desk and waited for guests to come in to beauty school. I was not hiding in the back. I was ready to go. I knew this was what I wanted to do. I knew it was something I was good at. And I just hit the ground running and haven't stopped. I fell in love with it early, and it hasn't changed.
So and I really like that part of the story. So you were doing hair before you were doing hair. I mean, you were doing hair before college school. So there was none of this, gee, I graduated from high school and then I went and did some college and I did this. You were really clear on what was next.
I was taking business classes online as I was working at my first full service salon. just making sure I had kind of a solid foundation underneath me to really build my business and grow my business. But yeah, from the beginning, I always knew this is what I wanted to do. And I've always been really grateful for that because it gave me an incredible head start.
Well, there's always a piece of the story called, the definable moment that kind of rocks us to our core. I call it the great OMG, the awakening. And I know there's one of those in your life that I want you to share, to get on the table, because it's what I call when life gets lifey.
Life got lifey. Yep, I had a rapid fire of life. In January of 2020, one day I woke up as a single mom. Before that, my job was very much a hobby. It was, I got to get to work, to get to work, to get home. And it was kind of a rock in the shoe of my household. It was just kind of a bother. And then all of a sudden, I woke up one day finding my job being my lifeline. It was how I was going to provide for my children and give them what they needed. So that was January. 3 months later, the pandemic hit, and then the salons all closed. So I remember there was an afternoon where my kids were gone. I was home and I was just thinking, what am I going to do? Like, I have this job that I love. I have this field that I'm so passionate about. And this is do or die. Like, it's all or nothing. Like, I need to go all in on this because as I've always felt very lucky that I love my job, that I feel like it's a hobby. But when that shift changes, and when it turns into this is really fun to how lucky am I that my job is something I love this much, it adds so much more weight to it. And so it was kind of a gift to have that time when I couldn't be behind the chair, because instead of working behind the chair, I was working on my business from home. So it gave me an opportunity to just build it from the ground up, to have really great, solid foundation, and to use social media to still pour into my guests from 6 feet away, from, the way that I could, whether it was, showing up to talk about how this is hard, as a stylist, as a mom, and being authentic like that on social media exploded my business. I mean, that was the game changer, truly. Showing up as myself, showing up when it's good, showing up when it's bad, and trying to be a light for my guests and for my audience. And that changed, it changed my business 100%.
Wow. I mean, there's a whole bunch that you just said in the last couple of minutes. I want to unpack a couple of pieces because they're key. So it's all of a sudden one day we wake up and, life is lifey on steroids. And like you said, you find yourself in this role called single parent. And it sounds like that condition, it's like after you as a provider, the earth starts dropping off. So that's like a shock us down to our core, a wake up. I think I heard that. And then, okay, I really need to lean in and level up. This is no more hobby hairdressing. This is like I'm getting serious as a heart attack here because my life has changed. I heard that. Then I heard the COVID dip, and you're sequestered, you're quarantined like the rest of us. And then you said something key. I couldn't work in my business. I had to work on my business at home. And then you kind of flew over. I did some things on social, authentic, showed my life, etc. And my business blew up. So I just want to take that piece for a second. Was there anything specific in content that you used on social that would say, yes, definitely this was rocket fuel?
Yeah, I think for a long time, a lot of people wanted the perfect squares, and they wanted all the filters, and you push your mess out of the way for the perfect picture. And I played that game for a little while, but when pushing the mess out of the way wasn't an option, that integrity and that authenticity resonated with a lot of people who were in the same boat. Everyone's in the same hurricane, just in a different boat. So being able to be relatable and be authentic and just kind of say it's okay to not be okay, it built this trust through these social media channels that I think was really, really valuable.
Wow. See, I've done almost 300 interviews, and I've really never heard somebody behind the chair at your level say, I used social media, which is not front page news, but I used it in a very different way. You call it authentic, genuine. We're all in the same hurricane. We're in different boats, and you begin to, whether it's blog, post, whatever, and you're saying that resonated with your community, and as a result, your clientele just went through the roof.
Absolutely.
Wow. So here we are. We fast forward. We're COVID isn't quite in the rearview mirror yet. It no longer does it look like it's a train coming our way, but it's not in the rearview mirror. But it sounds like you've made some ginormous movement in your journey. What's it like to be you now? How is your life different now than it was before? And what's that done to you as a person and as a hairdresser?
My business is night and day. The level of I think with being away from the chair as long as I was and being away from my guests, it added such a depth and such a weight to what we do and to who we serve and the way we serve our guests. And so all of that translates to a bigger business, being a listener for our guests, having them feel heard, having them feel, some of my guests, they're stay-at-home moms, and I know that game, and it is hard. And so some of these guests, they come and sit in my chair, and it's the only time someone's going to listen about their day. It's to be authentic, to be that person who knows how to listen to my guests. That has been huge. And so that has translated to referrals. It has translated to guests who want to come in more frequently, who want to bring their friends, all these things. So my chair has never been fuller. In the last year, I've hired 2 associate stylists to come and assist me to help me build my business without having to add more days, so I can still be home with my kids, which is just this perfect storm. It's a beautiful thing. My ticket prices have went up because going from the hobby to the profession, it's not about you got to buy your own hype. You got to really be there 100%. And so I'm very confident in charging my worth. I've been doing this for a long time. I'm good at what I do. And every new client that pours into my chair reaffirms that for me. And really, it's all a snowball effect. It all keeps growing and building. And 2021 was a really good year, but 2022 is going to be even bigger.
Well, again, you a whole bunch of wisdom in a relatively short period of time. I want to just unpack a couple of pieces that I got touched as you were kind of bringing me into your life. First thing I got was, when it's a hobby, there's a level of what I'm going to call superficiality. I don't know if that's a word, but hi, how are you? Pretty good. How are you? And it's like, okay. But there's a depth in I'm going to call it the interpersonal consciousness between you and your guest. And there's an empathy, there's a compassion. You can't fake that. You're either in that game or not. And it sounds like you are, and it's touching the souls of people that you're serving. So that's the first thing I heard. The second is that because it's a business now, you don't hesitate to charge what you're worth, because doing that matters, because it's a livelihood, and right. You're funding the lives of people that you care about. So there's a whole bunch of people out there that are in the game that you're in. They're not there yet. They're still kind of on the peripheries of ho-hum. Sometimes it's a hobby and sometimes it's interesting, but you're full on now. You've leaned in. That's what I heard.
Mm-hmm. And there was actually, when we came back from the pandemic, I did virtual consultations with all my guests because I hadn't seen them. Their hair was practically brand new to me. I hadn't seen them in 7 months. And so I had told them, I appreciate your support. I appreciate your business. I do have all my new prices listed. If you have any questions, let me know. And so many guests said, I'll pay you anything you want. Like my time in your chair is so precious to me. Charge me what you're going to tell me what your services are worth, not me. And it was every time they said it, it was so affirming that these are my people. They're my guests, and they support me, and they pour into my business. They pour into my family. It's every time you take that step towards being more professional, you're going to get these affirmations that you're doing it right. Your guests support you. Your guests want you to charge your worth because they want to support you and they want to see you succeed.
So I don't know why, but while you were chatting with me, just another question came up, and that is, I know because you and I would not be here having this conversation if it wasn't for Nicole Pisani, who is, all about salon centric. She's kind of your strategic. Can you talk about, first of all, who she is and what she represents in your life, and why that relationship matters in the conversation that we're having now?
Yeah, Nicole's been a game changer for me. She's our salon centric representative. So for the last 11 years, I've seen her once a week when she's come into the salon and, taken her tabs or checked her color stock or done all these things. And I mean, she feels like family to us. When she walks into Maven and Co., she's family. She's good people. And once I kind of told her the behind the scenes of what was going on in my life and the timeline of everything, she really took me under her wing. She said, I remember when my kids were little like that. I remember, having a little kid on your lap during a PTA meeting. I remember, it's crazy, it's hectic, and I remember it and I want to support you. And so she's deemed herself my PR agent. She has hired herself onto my team, and she's an incredible support system. She has 100%. She's changed my life, that girl. I love her to the moon.
So, and I want to make sure that I'm not being presumptuous or kind of reading in between the lines, but as I listen to you kind of describe the nature of the relationship you have with her, it's identical, different context, of course, but the melody is identical to the relationship that you have with your guest. It's real, it's authentic, there's empathy, there's compassion, and then there's the task that's built around that. And when she stepped up and kind of, with that, I'm going to call it humanity.
Yes.
It's one of those nitroglycerin on the bonfire.
1,000%.
So what's next for you? Like what, when you look out to 2022 and beyond, what's the next thing?
The next thing that I'm going to be focusing on mainly is building my brand as an educator. I'm a balayage specialist. I love what I do. I get giddy every time I turn a client around in my chair. I think it's such an amazing aesthetic that we can create. And I'm so passionate about it. And I would love to teach the classes that I couldn't find when I first heard about balayage. Really easy to understand, easy to digest, share my personal, how I learned how to do it better, and really help create a really great community of balayage artists.
I love it. Now, I want to get you sharing not only your secret sauce, and you have been, I mean, the essence of your juice, but there's something that got my attention when I was, because I follow you, and there was a post you put up one day of something that very digital in it. And when I inquired about, first of all, what is that and what kind of results are you getting from it? And you told me, I said, make sure that we spend a few minutes of airtime talking about that piece, because I've not interviewed somebody that's got that tool. To talk about what that is.
Sure. So with the shutdown and everyone coming back, everything got very digital real quickly. And so I thought, if a restaurant can use a QR code to their advantage, so can I. So I had a placard made to go to stand on top of my station, and it has 3 QR codes on it. And one is for my website, one is for my Instagram, and one is for my Yelp page. And I utilize that sign with every client every single day. And the one that I utilize the most is for my Instagram. And I guess will show me a picture from Pinterest, something that's highly filtered, may or may not be a wig, just and to marry those expectations, I have them scan my Instagram, and then they go to my page and they use my Instagram page as their new inspiration pictures. So it does 2 things. It gives them really great confidence that I can give those results because I've done it before. And 2, it ensures my success, because my only success is that they're happy with their hair. And if they're looking at things I've already done before, it marries the 2 things really beautifully. So yeah, QR codes have been a big deal at my station, big deal in my chair.
I mean, I love it. It's to me, the ingredient, the beta test, the litmus test that makes an idea truly innovative is that it's simple. It's three things. It's simple, it's digital, and it's relevant. And the essence today of genius is simplicity, digital simplicity that's relevant. So that idea is very ingenious. I'm curious that and it gets the client involved. That mobile's out, scan, and boom, they're right on your page. I'm assuming they begin following right away. Do you ever have clients where you need to coach them on scanning?
I can't say once. Everyone seems super familiar, and it keeps everything, it just pours into itself. The Yelp page is sitting right there. So while they're processing, they think, oh, let me scan this and write a review. And so that's organic. They hop over to my website, they look over my pricing, and they think about add-on services. So it all kind of like blends into, building my business, which is why I'm there.
A scanning app is now hit critical mass where it's a norm, and it's more the rule than the exception. So the overwhelming majority of your guests, that's not a new learning curve for them. They scan in real time, they get to your page, and all of a sudden we're not looking at filtered hair on Pinterest. We're looking at your work, your content, and I'm assuming that changes the nature of the experience of the consultation in real time. You talk about authenticity. Now we're having conversations around your brand rather than a third party, if you will.
Absolutely. And I can say, this is Nicole. I did her hair, this way. It puts names to faces. And I can say, she used to have hair like, this is her starting point. This is where she ended. I've been doing her hair for 8 years. She's so great. We've been on the same journey. You're about to hop on the train. You're going to be so happy. It keeps it really authentic. It keeps it a really personal, relationship-based experience and appointment.
I love it because it's so simple. And it's one of those, the less clicks it takes, the more experience you make, or the more money you make. So it's there, gets them there. It builds an enormous credibility because all of a sudden, instantaneously, we're on your page. The conversation is around your brand. So I just, again, I've done 300 interviews, and I don't recall having somebody share the idea that you shared. So that's huge. This big. All of a sudden you turn this, 15, 20 minutes into a tutorial. Listen, couple things. I want to ask you one more question, and then I want to ask you if you'd make a commitment for me. Sure. A lot of people are watching this now. There's going to be a whole lot more people watching the rewatch of it in the next few days. They're, first of all, looking at you, listening to the story, identifying with the story and you, but they're perhaps not where you're at yet. They're still back where you used to be. And so your presence is putting them in what I call the holy jumping off place. Let's get busy living, or not. What might you say to kind of, give them the nudge to have them take the giant leap of faith and do something that's going to change the trajectory of their life?
I think the best sentence I could give them is really double down on yourself. The biggest asset that I have is the fact that I'm the only one who can be the Jennifer Hatcher showing up to work on them behind the chair. It's my life, it's my story, it's my experience, it's my skill set. But no one else can double down on that but me. And that's, essentially that's growing in the gap. There's no other service provider who is me, who has my life, who has my story, who can give that to someone else. So if you're ready to jump, be ready and double down and believe in yourself, because no one is going to, you are your biggest asset 100%, and show up as you, because no one else can do that. And there's so much value in it.
Wow. Yeah, I would say it's more like a triple down or a a
Absolutely.
quadruple Lindy or whatever, So and you really exemplify that in a vision of what's possible when somebody is ready and willing to lean in, level up, if you will. And I think nothing creates that readiness than crisis. All of a sudden we stepped on an unexpected landmine and found that our life is not what it was, yesterday. So, listen, then the last thing I'm going to ask you to make is just a promise to me that you'll come back and for an encore. I just have a feeling that you're getting warmed up, you're getting traction on action, and that 2022 is going to be as abundant for you as 2021 is, and a whole lot more. So I'd love to have you back. You communicate well. You're the real deal.
Well, thank you. Yes, I look forward to writing a really, really big story next year that I can come back and talk about with you. Absolutely.
All right. Well, I'm going to let you get on with your day. Thank you very much for giving us a few minutes, and I'm going to ask my community to give it up for you one more time. Stay well, my friend.
Thanks, Michael.
Wow. I would say that she's the real McCoy. Like on steroids, the real McCoy. Did you pick that up? You can't fake where she just brought us. You can't fake it at all. And they say that she's a warrior. I would say a spiritual warrior. What's that old saying that most people are afraid that when they die they're going to go to hell. A warrior is not afraid of hell. A warrior's been there and back and lived to tell about it and was changed as a result. So she's not afraid to look, the proverbial light at the end of the tunnel, train coming her way in the face, not blink, wake up, and what did she say? Double down, triple down, lean in, level up, and go from this is a hobby to no, this is my livelihood here. People I care about deeply depend on my traction. And what's possible when you make that flip? That's what I would call a profound change in one's trajectory. That greases the wheel for not a change of life, but a transformation of life and business. So what an inspiration to have her and have her engage in the conversation. So give it up for her one more time. And in just closing, you're on my Facebook page, Michael Cole, Millionaire Stylist. This is recorded, so it'll live on this page for a little while. We'll do a little bit of editing on it and repost so that we can kind of get to a cut to the chase. And then what's going to happen is I'm going to do a little bit of editing, and it will live on my Michael Cole Millionaire Stylist IGTV channel. So we'll do a micro learning of it, a 5-minute, 6-minute version that I really want to get the scan coding in that gets you right to websites and Instagram pages and Yelp reviews. So that'll live there as well. So hang out with me on that. Also, when you go to my Instagram, Michael Cole Millionaire Stylist, go to my link tree and click on, and you're going to see some drop downs. My website, Michael Cole Next, but then there is all of the behind the chair millionaire calculators that we've created. They're gamified. They're very, very simple. And they show you how to set annual income goals for yourself. And the algorithms break down that money to show you exactly on what your average ticket need to be for you to hit the goal. So there's now tens of thousands of service providers that are using those calcs. It's all compliments of L'Oreal, so you don't need to sign up and subscribe to anything to really take advantage of them. Again, go to my Instagram page, Michael Cole Millionaire Stylist. Hit my link tree. You're going to see all the behind the chair millionaire calcs, and just follow the yellow brick road. I got one called the Dream Machine. I got one called the Goose That Lays the Golden Eggs calc. I got one called the Debt Free calc, and they're all intended to not only blow up your income, but show you how to manage that money in a way so that over 5, 10, 15 years you have a substantial fortune to show for your commitment, your hard work, and to show for your double downness. I'll use Jennifer Hatcher speak, so that you've got something to show for your hard work. So I'll leave that to you. Also, we have another .com called SummitSalon365.com. We put a lot of more production value videos, more of our courses. I'm working on a course now that you can find on there called Michael Cole Mindfulness Matters. Top 20 wellness, top 20 mental wellness, top 20 mindfulness matters. It's all production value video, and it really kind of talks about, how we get the inside, our inner purpose solid. Our outer purpose, we've just had a conversation about that with Jennifer, but what's the consciousness need to be to support that? So feel free to hang out with that. Last but not least, we want to thank we're exclusive business partners with L'Oreal. So L'Oreal, I call them, they grant us money so that we can, from their brands, because we promote their brands, and it allows us to bring this content to you, complements them. So if as it works for you, please support them and you can see we've got some of the best brands in the beauty industry there. Pulp Riot, Biolage, Pureology, Kerastase, L'Oreal Professional, Redken, Matrix, Hue, Mazzani. They're all there. Support them. To the degree you support that, L'Oreal is in a position to support us, and we bring this to you. Compliments of them. So it's for the good of all and the harm of none. Listen, it's been a great afternoon. I'm going to let you get back to your lives, and we'll see you on Thursday. We'll do a Thursday night live. I've got a special guest that I'll surprise you when you show up on Thursday at 8 o'clock Central. That would be 5 o'clock Pacific. See you then.